I'm going to show you how to make an email marketing campaign that makes you that cold hard cash. First, I'll show you how to plan the campaign so you can make the most possible. Second, I'm going to give you the secret that only really good marketers know. Next, I'm going to show you how to use AI to help you even create this campaign so you're not spending all your time behind a desk writing emails that you don't want to do anyway, but you feel like you have to because it will make you money. And finally, I'm going to show you the 5-step process to write a campaign and get it done way faster. First of all, what is a campaign? Now, if you're using ActiveCampaign, it's gonna say that a campaign is a one-time email. Literally, no other email service provider says that. I don't know why they call it that. Everybody else calls it that, a broadcast. Typically, a campaign is referred to as a series of emails that are sent out live, and they're usually used to launch something. So how can you plan this out so that you can be as successful as possible? Well, the first thing that we want to do is look at what you're doing before the launch. Before you even think about launching, we want to look at that pre-launch stuff. That's really where the magic happens. And honestly, that's one of the biggest differences between a flop launch and a 6-figure launch, even if you have a smaller list. We had a list size of around 6,000 and we had a 6-figure launch just from that small list. There's a few things that we did to make it really successful. First, we had a big lead up into it. People knew that we were launching something. They were excited to see what it was, excited to hear what it was. I also used a lot of AI images to gain some attention too. This is something that I was kind of surprised about. I didn't think that people would be as interested in these images because they're really like dorky and nerdy and stuff like that, but people loved them. They ate them up. They looked forward to seeing the next one. I made images of me as an owl queen. I made images of me with like a team of turtles. It wasn't just animals, it was other stuff too, but the animal ones, animal and AI image of me were the ones that really did the best. There's one with me in this giant billowy dress on top of a narwhal. So I try to make them as weird and interesting as possible, and they definitely stops people's scrolls. And I find that the people I see doing this, that are listening to my advice and doing this too, are having better launches because of it. Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen the same poses of somebody in their beautiful brand photography. They look gorgeous, the brand photography is gorgeous, but they're sitting at a desk smiling at their computer. There's only so many of those that you can see that look exactly the same before you just keep on scrolling. It just feels like noise. But with the help of AI images, you're able to create something that comes straight from your brain that maybe has never been seen before, never been done before, or even if it has, is now being done with your face with it. So when we're looking at pre-launch, we're thinking about the pre-launch emails, the pre-launch campaign, but we're also looking at what you're posting on social, the kind of images you're sharing, and you can share these images in the campaign as well, those emails. Typically in email campaigns, we don't want to share more than a few images max, ideally just one image, but if you're like an e-commerce, for example, you might want to share multiple images. Other things that you can do to make this pre-launch a huge success is by sharing pictures of you with the affiliate that's going to be promoting you. If you have affiliates that want to promote as well, and you have seen them in person, met them in person, it's really important to take those pictures because that adds to the legitimacy. It adds to their audience saying, oh, okay, they actually know this person. This isn't just somebody they're promoting. They actually know this person and trust this person. Whenever you go out to events, the more pictures you can take, the better. Not only because it's fun, but also because it helps their audience feel more comfortable with you too. All right, so we talked about the elements we want to have in a pre-launch campaign. We want to have images, we want to have social posts, we want to have emails. We want to have stuff too that piques their curiosity. And then we also want to have things that are like how-to, that provide value before you make the ask. In Gary Vee's book, Jab, Jab, Right Hook, he talks about giving value before asking for anything. And it's the same thing that we want to do here in pre-launch. So typically in my pre-launch emails, I'm going to do a few things. One, I'm going to ask them a question that they can reply to. And when I have them reply, there's going to be an A, B, C, or D for them to reply to. I don't say, tell me all your problems or tell me everything that's going wrong, because first of all, nobody really wants to talk about that. But then second of all, it also gives us an opportunity to see some of the objections they may have, see some of the problems they're having, and help them identify, oh, this is a problem I'm having, before you make the offer that solves that problem. By having them respond with A, B, C, or D, it also makes it way easier for them to reply, and the more people you have replying, the better. When they reply, it basically signals to their email, their Gmail account, Yahoo account, that, oh, this is somebody they want to hear from. And so if you want to have a more engaged email list, or more people actually getting your emails and seeing it and not going to their promo folder, their spam folder, their other folder, then asking them to reply to something before you have a big series of emails is ideal. So almost always my first email in a pre-launch campaign is going to be asking them a question and having them respond with A, B, C, or D. The next email I typically send is gonna be a value email. So this is me showing them how to do something and giving them something for free. It helps initiate the reciprocal feeling that they're gonna have of, okay, I wanna at least hear them out with what this offer is, I might be interested. And it gives them an idea of how you can work together, what it's like to learn from you, what it's like to work with you, by giving them something free of value that's helpful right there at the beginning. Now you may be thinking, Brittany, I don't consider myself an expert marketer. I consider myself an expert in my subject matter, but not really an expert marketer. So what are all the things that I'm supposed to even talk about in a pre-launch? So what we're gonna do is go to ChatGPT. You're gonna say, I want your help planning a pre-launch campaign. Here's who my audience is, here's what the offer is, here's what some of the objections or problems they might have are. I want you to tell me exactly what kind of content to post or what topics to post about for 2 weeks leading up to it, or a week even leading up to this launch. Now I like to do anywhere from 7 to 10 days of pre-launch. You can do longer or shorter depending on what works for you. That's what works best for me. Typically for a B2C audience, you're gonna do less. For a B2B audience, you're gonna do more. By having it tell you exactly what topics to talk about, it's gonna make it so much easier for you to actually get that content out there. Now, the first time that I do some kind of launch, I don't expect to have a whole 7 to 10 days of pre-launch and then a whole launch after that. Every time I do a launch, my goal is to peel away one layer at a time. So maybe I'm gonna start with pre-launch emails and that's my main focus. And then the next launch, I'll do pre-launch emails and pre-launch social. The next one I'll do pre-launch emails, pre-launch social, and a live. And so each time I'm launching, I'm adding to it. You don't have to do all the stuff that I'm saying right away. In fact, sometimes that might be a little bit overwhelming. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by that, just start with one thing. Start with one email or one series of emails leading up to it. After you've planned the pre-launch campaign, you're gonna plan the launch. And you're gonna do the same thing. Say, here's what I'm launching, here's what I've shared with them so far, here is the offer that I'm making. I want you to help me come up with what topics need to be in the emails, how many emails I need to send, what I need to cover, any lives that I need to do, or objections I can expect. Using AI to help with all of that makes it a lot more objective instead of subjective. Sometimes we're just too close to our own stuff to really see the objections that might come in or see the offer objectively. And so this helps us get a clear picture that's like that bird's eye view. And every email campaign that's a launch campaign, we want to cover one reason people would buy, one reason people wouldn't buy, the objection that you need to address. And we want to think about it from what do they need to know in order to buy. So typically it's going to have an email that's like, here's everything that's included. There's going to be an email that's an FAQ email. There's going to be an email that offers a bonus that busts the most common objection. There's going to be an email that talks about, hey, this is the final chance to get this deal at this specific price or this specific time frame. We want to have some kind of urgency with it too, a reason for them to say yes now versus saying, I'll do it eventually, and never actually doing it. Now today we talked about creating an email campaign, but there's so much more to it than I was able to cover in this time today. And so I want to give you a free gift that's going to help you create your email campaign with AI. It's the Email Campaign with AI checklist. This free resource is going to help you write your emails, your pre-launch emails, your launch emails, and think about everything else you could possibly need for a campaign with the help of AI. You'll be able to do it faster, easier, and better. My name is Brittany Long. Click on the link that comes with this video to get the Email Campaign with AI checklist now.